Thrilled to be joined once again by the iconic truth teller, Candace Owens. A new show coming to the Daily Wire called Candace. Candace Owens, great to see you again. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Candace, when I saw this tweet, I got very excited, a little bit confused. It was from a few weeks ago, but I'll put it on the screen. You're thinking about running for president. I love America. Thinking about running for president. This tweet went mega viral. Some people thought you were kidding. I thought that you might be serious. I think this could happen. What was it all about? What are you thinking?
I was definitely being serious. I definitely would not put something out like that in jest. My thinking is this. I think that the Democrats are playing a really nasty game. We all saw that. They're no longer playing by any rules. And when you start to have presidential debates and the only questions that are asked are race-baiting questions pertaining to Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and race issues, they're basically setting up a future in which a meritocracy no longer exists. And we have to start putting forth candidates that can slap down these ridiculous questions. You know, I love this country. I've been spending the last year and a half immersed in deeper study, you know, just in terms of economics and American history inside and out, but world history as well. And I've spent a lot of time with a tutor, and I'm taking this very seriously. Now, if someone steps up to the plate that I think is better fit to run for president, and I should really just be an auxiliary for that individual, I will be more than happy to do that. But right now, I'm just not seeing that individual that I think can beat the left, plain and simple. So that tweet was definitely not put out in jest.
You mentioned a tutor. Could you tell us more about that? A tutor. I think that's a great idea. A lot of people should do that. But how does that work?
You know, you just get a tutor. That's how it works. And you kind of go back to the very beginning and understanding Western civilization. And what I'm talking about is the Greek miracle, going back to the greats, Plato, Socrates, and studying that element of philosophy to really get a greater hold on the things that we believe in and what makes Western civilization unlike any other, and what really built the empire that is America, and what is threatening the empire that is America. So I've been doing a lot of studying and really forming what is the basis of my own economic policies. What do I believe in? And so I think with me, my story has always been that people have underestimated me, definitely since the very first time that I got into politics. And I am always and consistently challenging myself and defying those expectations because I think that is going to take a lot of work. We definitely need to have a lot of charisma and a lot of optimism as well. But I'm willing to put in that work if I felt that my country needed me in 2024 and perhaps beyond.
Okay, Donald Trump's changed the rules, obviously, in a big way. And look, I think you'd be fantastic and obviously very, very credible right out of the gate. I think one thing they'll raise right away, well, wait a second, she's never been in Congress, she's never been a senator, she's never been a governor. I don't know if you've employed thousands of people like Donald Trump. I mean, would you acknowledge that there are perhaps some gaps in your resume to take on a job like that? Not that they can't be overcome, but you definitely would not be a traditional candidate.
I would not be a traditional candidate, and I think that that works in my favor. Traditional candidates have gotten us into this mess, right? Traditional candidates are the reason that America is faced with this consequence when we have so many people being brought up to school and investing in Marxist principle. Traditional candidates is what got us the Department of Education, which is failing American students all across the country. What it really takes is somebody that understands, like I said, how America was built, what the miracle is about Western civilization and what we're fighting to protect. And quite frankly, I think that our Congress has done a really bad job of fighting, and the American people no longer have faith in a lot of the politicians. And I'm definitely not saying every single person that is Republican and is in Congress. We have some great people that are fighting, but a lot of Americans don't feel heard and feel disrespected because they entrusted their votes to certain candidates, and once they got to Washington, they sold them out. And I think that if there's anything that the American people rely upon when it comes to me is they know that I'll never sell out and that I'm strong enough to stand by my convictions no matter what the pressure is.
Candace, I'm pretty excited about this. I really think it could work. Let's talk about the TV show real quick. Candace starts next week on the Daily Wire. We have a little preview. Let's go ahead and roll it.
This show is going to be all of the pieces of me.
Damn. Looks like it might have a little bit of a fashion angle as well. Tell us about how it's all going to go down.
You know, one of the things that I have always asserted myself is I believe in this cultural war. I think that culture is important. I think that this is one element that conservatives missed for a very long time. For whatever reason, conservatives gave up culture to the left, and that is why we are dealing with the tragedy that is American society today. So I've always wanted to do something that felt cultural because I think that we do need to appeal to a younger generation. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to create a show where they're not learning anything. I am political. That politics is now my nature, but I think that we can do that in an uplifting, fun way. We're definitely not going to be covering any fashion, despite how fashionable that may have looked for you. But we are definitely going to be doing a lot of serious debates. We'll definitely poke some fun at the left because they're giving us a ton of content. And I think beyond anything else, my show will be unapologetic because like I said earlier, I do stand by my convictions, and I know that we need to have a voice and a show that conservatives can watch and know that we're no longer going to let the left have jokes at our expense. We're going to do that too.
Sounds fantastic. So Candace, when there is a conversation about race in America, in our culture, when it's held at the national level, it is dominated by the left. You've seen that. I've seen it. They kind of control the narrative. And people of color, the ones who are leading that conversation, are from the left. And my sense is a lot of folks who are not of color, Caucasians, they're intimidated talking about race with anybody of color. Like the moment they have the ability to shut down the conversation. I'm wondering, number one, do you agree with me on that? And number two, do you have any advice? I happen to be kind of comfortable talking about these issues, but I know some people who are not, and I understand that. And when somebody, you know, says, hey, I'm black and you know nothing, I mean, that does shut some people up. What do you think about that?
You know, I always say that one of the biggest issues in American society today is white guilt. White Americans not having the courage to speak up and allowing people to use race or to use slurs. You know, you're a homophobe, you're a sexist, you're a racist, to shut down conversation. And without free speech, there cannot be any critical thinking. And there tends to be this dogmatic approach, both in the education system and culturally. But it's only happening because white Americans are allowing it to happen. So I always say, you know, if you want to be a part of your own demise, keep being quiet, keep apologizing, and keep getting into line and playing this loopy game that the leftists want you to play. But if you want to be a part of an America that's based on ideas, that's based on the merit of your ideas, the merit of your character and your personality, and not these foregone conclusions that the left are moving the ball about every single day, then I suggest you learn to speak up. And as I said, most importantly, do not apologize. And you will definitely get that from my show. I will definitely be making fun of cancel culture and showing that I refuse to bend to it. You know, Candace is uncancelable is sort of the tagline for my show. And it's because I've said over and over again to the left, thank you, but no thank you. And you won't get an apology or a non-apology or a fake apology from Candace Owens.
Wow. Well, the show sounds great. And the America you just described and how people should behave sounds great as well. Because I'm sensing that there's a real opportunity here. There are people on the left who are creeped out big time by cancel culture. I mean, the Dr. Seuss thing might have been a tipping point, but like, have you noticed that there are folks on the left who are suddenly like, this isn't right? Yeah.
As they should be. And I will say this also, obviously, us conservatives, we've been paying attention to this for a long time. And if they weren't getting it, maybe it had to be Dr. Seuss, but it really started when we were realizing it, or at least for me, with Donald Trump. This was a man that was loved by the media. He was held up. He had his own show. They celebrated him for decades. And the second that they wanted to have power and control, they tried to transform him into a racist, sexist, white supremacist person. They will do that. It wasn't going to start or stop with Donald J. Trump. They will do this to every single American if it is about them gaining power and them gaining control. So I say really to Americans, I don't care what your politics are. Is that a future that you believe in? Is that a future that you feel that your children can grow up in, and your offspring and your children's children can grow up in, where they're deemed guilty, where Dr. Seuss can't exist? I mean, where Mr. Potato Head can't exist, where you can't walk down the aisle in a grocery store and see an Aunt Jemima pancake batter without being offended, or somebody telling you that you should be offended. If that sounds like the America you want to live in, then keep voting Democrat. If not, then I suggest that you jump on board with the conservatives and realize that something dangerous is happening in this country, and we have to stand up to it.
Candace, thank you for what you're doing. We look forward to the show. And Candace, final question. Is there something, I know you have the tutor and you're thinking these big thoughts and you're fighting these fights. Is there some hobby or interest that you have that has nothing to do with any of this, something that might surprise us? I don't know. Do you have a fish tank or anything that you like to do that is totally unrelated?
I am a bit of a nerd, so I do like to study, but I probably think people don't realize that I'm such an outdoors woman. I love to fish, so I'm a bit of a fisherwoman. I think that would probably surprise some people, perhaps.
Yeah, it does surprise me. I'm surprised by anybody who fishes. It's not my thing, but I respect it. It's people love it, and my mom loves it.
You just
anyway,
lost a ton of fans. Just kidding.
Look, you got to be real. You got to be real, Candace. You know, Mitt Romney would be like, I'm a fisherman. Yeah, sure. I don't think Donald Trump is much of a fisherman either. Oh, but Donald Trump Jr. is big time.
He is.
All right. Candace, you're amazing. Candace Owens, we appreciate it so much. Continued success. And I have a much better feeling about 2024 in the future after talking to you right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, and we'll be.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.